checking out my video. Today I'm going to make a peanut butter cake with peanut butter frosting. And how I got this idea was I was looking at Facebook today and up came a recipe and it said peanut butter sheet cake with peanut butter frosting. I was like thinking that sounded so good. So it had like half of the recipe, and when you tried to click on anything you could never get the other half of the recipe. So I was all frustrated because I was like, I'm gonna make that. I want to make that today, and the recipe just wasn't there. So anyway, I googled it. I've made peanut butter cakes before, but I guess I never hung on to the recipes. So it's called a peanut butter sheet cake, but I'm actually gonna make it in a 9x13 pan, so it's a little bit thicker, moister cake. So anyway, I'm just gonna follow the recipe here that I found online, and it starts out with you boil a cup of water and a quarter cup of oil. It says vegetable or canola. And butter. 3/4 cup of butter. So that's 1/2 a stick and a whole stick. So I'm going to put this on the stove to get it boiling while we throw the rest of our cake together. Okay, so we're going to put together our dry ingredients in this bowl. I need a cup of sugar, half a cup, 1 cup, and brown sugar, I need 3/4 of a cup. Cup and 1/4 cup makes 3/4 of a cup. Okay, so then we need some baking soda, 3/4 tablespoons of baking soda. I'm just gonna do a little bit less than a teaspoon. So it's 3/4 teaspoons salt, but I'm only going to use a 1/2 teaspoon because I'm using salted butter. 2 cups of flour. 1/2 cup. 1 cup. 1.5 cups. 2 cups. Whisk this together. Okay, so the water and the oil and the butter are almost ready, but I have just a minute, so I'm going to get my 9x13 pan ready. I've got this baking spray this is especially for baking. It's got oil and flour in it. Just it's kind of like greasing and flouring a pan, but it's all in one spray. But if you just had Pam, that would work fine too. I've got my 2 eggs here. It says I didn't have buttermilk. I never have buttermilk on hand, and I hate buying a whole thing of buttermilk that I only need this much for in a cake. So you can make your own buttermilk by taking a cup of milk and a tablespoon of vinegar. So I only needed a 1/2 cup, so I used a 1/2 cup of milk and a 1/2 tablespoon of vinegar, and so I have homemade buttermilk there. And it says to add the eggs to the buttermilk, because once we get that butter and water off the stove, everything's going to come together real quick. And the last thing I need is some vanilla extract, about a teaspoon of that. So it says, once boiling, remove from heat and add peanut butter. So I've got a 1/2 cup of peanut butter here. Now we just got to get this peanut butter to melt down into this liquid here, which will only take a minute because it's smoking hot. Okay, so our, I don't know if you can see that or not. It's looks like just soupy peanut butter, which is basically what it is. So we're going to pour that into our dry ingredients. Smells good. It smells like peanut butter cookie dough. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to put a little bit of this warm dough into the milk here to kind of temper it so that we don't get scrambled eggs when I pour this cold mixture of buttermilk and eggs into this hot cake dough. If you take a little bit of the hot, put it into the cold, now this is warm, and now there's no chance that this is going to scramble when I throw that in there. So we're just going to stir this until it's all combined. Okay, so there's our batter. We're going to pour it right here into our pan. It's all ready to go. This cake comes together pretty fast. Okay, so we got our batter in our pan. Throw this in the oven. It says for 30 minutes. Powder in here, get it up to a simmer, and then we'll put in our powdered sugar. Okay, we are finishing up our frosting here. And the frosting, you're supposed to be able to just like pour it on, and then it sets up, you know, after it cools. So I'm actually going to take a whisk to this for a second. Pretty much spreads its own self out because it's hot and the cake is still hot, so I don't really have to do much to get it even. Okay, so I don't always taste my food at the end of my videos because it's usually stuff that I've made many times before and I know it's good, and I don't know, I don't think everybody is dying to watch me chomp on some food, but I've never made this before and I want to try it and make sure that I'm giving you a good recipe here. So I'm gonna try a little bit, and it's still warm. I'm not a very patient person. I want to try it now. I don't want to wait. Oh yeah. Very, very good. If you're a peanut butter lover, you're gonna love this. I'm hanging on to this recipe for sure. This is a good recipe. And you could make it into a sheet cake if you want, but it'd be a much thinner cake. And then this frosting would spread out, so it would be a thinner layer of frosting as well. I like it this way because you get thicker cake and thicker frosting. But it's really, really good. And I think you're gonna like it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. My channel is called Rhonda's Thrifty Kitchen. I have a bunch of other videos on there if you'd like to check them out. Do me a favor, hit subscribe. It's free for you and it helps me to be able to make more videos. And I hope to see you on one of my other videos. Take care.